Hello, my dear stars, and welcome back to Turkish Star Files. I hope you're out there chasing your dreams with the same glow we see in the eyes of the celebrities we love, because tonight we are diving into a story that has been stirring hearts and sparking whispers all across social media. You asked for clarity, you begged for details, and you've waited with that delicious mix of excitement and curiosity that makes this community so special. So here we are, face to face with a mystery that's been fluttering at the edges of every glossy photo and every shy glance caught by the cameras, the radiant, puzzle piece kind of happiness that seems to surround Barış Baktaş and Yağmur Yüksel. Before the tide of intrigue sweeps us away completely, tap that red subscribe button and ring the bell, because here at Turkish Star Files, we never stop chasing the stories that make your heart race and your mind spin. This is your haven for whispers refined into revelations, a place where the spotlight feels warm and the truth comes draped in velvet. Now, let's begin where we all first fell under their spell, the images, the interviews, the red carpets where two people look like they've been branded by the same sun. On social media, at premieres, even in those casual street shots that feel like stolen moments, Barış and Yağmur give off the aura of a couple that doesn't just pose well, they breathe together. Their feeds aren't simply curated to please, no, they hum with an ease that's difficult to fake. A coffee cup between them that looks like a tiny ceremony. A shared laugh that doesn't perform, it lifts, it bubbles up as if they forgot the lens existed. There are birthdays and wrap parties and late-night photos with the kind of softness that only comes after hours spent with someone who knows your rhythms by heart. You see them exchanging quick looks and inside jokes at press junkets. You see them move like magnets whose edges have learned to fit. And if you ask any fan who's watched closely, they'll tell you the same thing, almost like a prayer: this isn't just chemistry, it's compatibility. Not just charm, constancy. But let's peel back the shimmer and ask the question that always returns, the one we whisper to ourselves when the screen goes dark: what's behind that light? Surviving, let alone thriving, under a gaze as relentless as the public's is never simple. It means negotiating diaries stuffed with commitments and days that bend under pressure. It means traveling when everyone else is coming home, and coming home when the world expects you out smiling under flashbulbs. It means balancing rehearsals, readings, shoots, rehearsals again, and trying to find the breath to be human at the end of it all. That is where the mythology of celebrity ends and the practice of love begins. And if there's one thread that runs through everything we've seen from Barış and Yağmur, it's that they didn't stumble into harmony, they built it, plank by plank. People talk about the magic of love as if it's a trick. But in their case, the magic is patience disguised as routine. You can feel it in the way they listen to each other when a reporter throws a tricky question, the way one steps back when the other steps forward, as if they rehearsed it but didn't need to. It's in their schedules, too, both fiercely dedicated to their craft, both with careers that pull them in different directions, yet somehow they find the midpoint like travelers who always know north. The nights he stays on set past midnight, she's there with a message that isn't flowery so much as grounding. The days she's neck-deep in preparation, he learns when to be quiet in the background and when to turn up like a drumbeat. There is no pettiness in that dance, no competition for the brighter spotlight. When one triumphs, both rise, when one stumbles, both bend to lift. And oh, that spark. You can't quantify it, but anyone in the room can feel it, the shimmer in the eyes before a question is answered, the tiny grin that shows up when the other person walks in. It isn't just about attractiveness, it's about recognition. A belief, tested and confirmed, that the person beside you is your safest place. You see it when they lock eyes and their faces settle, as if someone whispered that everything's going to be alright. That, more than the gowns and suits and flash, is why they've become the heartbeat of so many conversations. We secretly hope their glow is proof that love is possible in a world that moves too fast. Of course, you've come here for the secret, the thing hidden between the lines of their perfect frames. What is the spell they're casting? What is the formula written in invisible ink under every joint interview? Listen closely, there is no elixir, no shortcut, no miracle that doesn't require relentless tending. What there is, instead, is a ferocious commitment to authenticity. Barış and Yağmur show each other the real version first, the one that doesn't perform, the one that forgives, the one that admits exhaustion and smiles anyway. They have, time and time again, chosen to be honest before being impressive. And they've made a decision that many couples talk about but few practice in the quiet minutes. They prioritize their bond. They ring-fence moments that are theirs, even when the calendar rages. They protect simple rituals that would look tiny on paper and yet loom enormous in the architecture of their days. They refuse to sacrifice tenderness to adrenaline, or presence to performance. That doesn't mean every day is an anthem. Happiness, as we all learn sooner or later, isn't a constant stream of fireworks, it's a moving balance, a tide that rises and recedes and returns. There are nights when tension knocks, when plans dissolve, when expectations must be renegotiated. But here is where their strength gleams the brightest. They face challenges as partners, not opponents. When a rumor flies, they talk it through. When schedules clash, they recalibrate without making the other feel like a burden. When fatigue creeps in, and it always does, they give each other permission to be human. They seem to understand that resilience isn't stoicism, it's softness that doesn't shatter. We've also seen how fiercely they celebrate each other's work. Watch the way he speaks about her choices, there is pride there that doesn't need to shout. Watch the way she witnesses his growth, there is calm there, and certainty. They do not trade in envy. They trade in trust. They practice this peculiar alchemy of modern love, granting each other enough room to soar without letting the distance between the clouds turn into emptiness. They clap the loudest for their partner and then turn the applause into silence when it's time to rest at home, to eat something simple, to be normal for an hour. In that simplicity, there is a future taking shape. If we had to name the pillars that keep their house standing, we'd start with communication. The kind that doesn't cling to scripts. They don't just talk, they translate. Needs, hopes, disappointments, dreams, they put them on the table and decide how to cook them into the next day. The second is admiration, not the superficial kind, but the deep kind that grows when you witness someone's discipline up close, when you learn the cost behind their grace. The third is prioritization, it sounds cold, but it's love's backbone. When the world demands everything, they refuse to let their us be the tax that gets paid first. And there's something else we can't ignore, playfulness. This is the secret door in the grand house. It's in their banter, in the way they tease each other during downtime, in the way a heavy day lifts because someone made a ridiculous face at the perfect moment. Don't undervalue that. Play is how we remember why we chose each other when the world forgets to be kind. It's the spark that turns the routine ritual into a private festival. It's the shared wink in a crowded room that says, we're still us. So here's the unvarnished truth you came for, the secret, if it exists at all, is the sum of small devotions. It is found in a phone call answered instead of ignored. In a boundary kept. In an apology made quickly. In a laugh that arrives exactly when a sigh would have one. In forgiveness offered without tallying points. In the patience to wait at the crossroads until both can walk together. None of this is glamorous on paper, and yet it builds a glow that no filter can imitate. When love is treated as a practice rather than a prize, it develops roots deep enough to survive any season. Look at the curve of their journey. They began as two ambitious souls carving separate paths. They met in a world that measures worth in headlines and numbers. And instead of competing, they aligned. Instead of guarding their hearts from the chaos, they built a shelter that moves with them. Over time, we've watched them evolve not only as performers but as partners who seem to have negotiated that fragile peace between the self and the shared. It's not that everything is perfect, it's that they keep choosing each other in imperfect conditions. That is love's most convincing miracle. Let's circle back and gather the jewels we've found. What makes the happiness of Barış Baktaş and Yağmur Yüksel feel so believable isn't one dazzling gesture, it's the orchestra of hundreds of tiny notes played well. Clear communication that doesn't duck the hard parts. Mutual support that doesn't dim either person's light. A romantic voltage that isn't about show but about safety and delight. Authenticity that declines to put a mask between them. And the wisdom to rank their relationship high, even when opportunity knocks like a storm on the door. That is the portrait that has enchanted us all. Not a fairy tale. A craft. And as we close this chapter tonight on Turkish Star Files, I hope this deep dive into the glow surrounding Barış and Yağmur has offered not just irresistible gossip but a glimpse into the labor behind the shine. Maybe you'll watch their next interview and notice the way they make space for each other to answer. Maybe you'll scroll through their latest photos and see the rituals hidden in the frames. Maybe you'll carry a morsel of that practice into your own life, too, and watch how care, consistently offered, slowly turns into radiance. Now it's your turn, my beloved community. What do you feel when you look at them together? Do you think there's another layer we haven't peeled back yet, some unspoken rhythm that adds to their joy? Tell me everything in the comments. Your thoughts are the heartbeat of this channel, your voices are the chorus that make our stories sing. If this exploration made you smile, if it surprised you or made you think, press like and share it with someone who believes in love, or someone who needs a reminder that it can be built. And if you haven't yet joined our family, subscribe and switch on notifications, because the next revelation is already on its way. Until then, hold on to your sparkle, hold on to your tenderness, and remember, in a world that rushes, love is the brave act of staying. We'll meet again soon, right here, where the stars come closer and the whispers turn into truth.